Picture this. You wake up not knowing how you got covered in blood, missing teeth, with a broken nose, and zero memory of what happened. That's exactly what happened to Tamar Braxton just days ago, and the details surrounding that night are about to blow your mind. Because what we're about to uncover isn't just about an accident, it's about a pattern that's been destroying Tamar's life for years. And this time, it almost cost her everything. The entertainment world was stunned when Tamar posted those devastating images showing her battered face and revealed she almost lost her life. But here's what she didn't tell you in that emotional Instagram post, and what the blogs are now exposing. The night before her mysterious accident, Tamar wasn't alone. She was spotted getting cozy with one of the most controversial men in reality TV, and their night together ended in a way that has everyone asking the same question. What really happened at Tamar Braxton's house? Before we dive into this mess, let me paint the picture of that fateful evening. It was just another night in Atlanta, but for Tamar Braxton, it would become the night that changed everything. V12 Lounge was buzzing with the usual crowd, music pumping, drinks flowing, and celebrities doing what they do best, being seen. But according to multiple eyewitnesses, Tamar wasn't just there to party. She was locked in deep conversation with a married man who's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons lately.
Security cameras captured them throughout the night, and sources say they weren't hiding their chemistry. They were described as vibing heavy, talking close, sharing drinks, and acting like two people who definitely weren't worried about who might be watching. Around 1 a.m., here's where things get interesting. They left together, not separately, not with different groups of friends, but together. And that decision would lead to consequences nobody saw coming. Now, if you don't know who we're talking about, let me introduce you to Mendeecees Harris. This man has been a walking red flag since day one of Love and Hip Hop. We're talking about someone who spent years in federal prison for running a massive drug operation, moving cocaine and heroin for nearly a decade. When he got out, instead of keeping a low profile, he went right back to reality TV drama and making his wife Yandy Smith look foolish on national television. Mendeecees has a reputation that precedes him, and it's not a good one. This is a man who openly admitted on Love and Hip Hop that he doesn't even wear his wedding ring. Think about that for a second. You're married to Yandy Smith, a woman who rode for you through a federal prison sentence, kept your name alive, raised your kids, and you can't even be bothered to wear the ring she put on your finger?
The cheating allegations against this man are endless. Cast members have called him out for being at strip clubs with other women. There are constant rumors about him stepping out on Yandy, and every season brings new drama about his wandering eye. Yandy has spent years defending this man, making excuses for his behavior and convincing herself that their marriage is solid while everyone around them can see it's crumbling. But here's what makes the situation even messier. Yandy and Mendeecees have been having serious problems lately. Sources close to the couple say their marriage has been hanging by a thread. Yandy's been making major life decisions without consulting her husband, including running for city council and planning to donate her eggs to her cousin. Mendeecees reportedly told cast members he's considering moving out of their home. Their relationship is so strained that fans have been speculating about a possible separation for months.
So now we have Tamar Braxton, fresh off another failed relationship, meeting up with a married man whose marriage is already falling apart. What could go wrong, right? According to the sources who were there that night, everything went wrong. After leaving V12 Lounge together, Tamar made a decision that would have been shocking if it came from anyone else, but this is Tamar we're talking about, so maybe it shouldn't surprise us. She invited Mendeecees and a group of friends back to her home for an after party. Let that sink in for a moment. Tamar Braxton, who spent years crying on social media about how Vince Herbert's assistant tried to play her, how JR treated her badly, how men keep hurting her, invited another woman's husband back to her house in the middle of the night. The same Tamar who was devastated when she found out about infidelity in her own relationships just welcomed a married man into her private space?
The after-party was confirmed by none other than Funky Deneva, who was apparently present that night and has been spilling tea about what went down. But here's where the story takes a dark turn that nobody saw coming. Just hours after this gathering at Tamar's home, everything changed. The party ended, people left, and sometime in those early morning hours, something happened to Tamar that she literally cannot remember. When her friend found her, it was a scene straight out of a horror movie. Tamar was unconscious, lying in a pool of her own blood, with severe facial injuries that would require immediate medical attention. Her nose was fractured, several teeth were knocked out, and she had lost mobility in parts of her body. The woman who just hours earlier was laughing and partying was now fighting for her life, and she has absolutely no memory of how she got that way.
The medical details alone are terrifying. We're not talking about a simple fall or a minor accident. The injuries Tamar sustained were serious enough that she says she almost died. A fractured nose, missing teeth, mobility issues. These are the kind of injuries that come from serious trauma. Yet somehow, in all of this chaos, Tamar's memory just disappeared. She genuinely doesn't know what happened to her, which raises so many questions it's keeping everyone awake at night. Here's what makes this whole situation even more suspicious. Where was Mendeecees during all of this? If you were at someone's house and they ended up seriously injured hours later, wouldn't you be concerned? Wouldn't you be calling to check on them, offering to help, making sure they got medical attention? But according to all reports, Mendeecees has been completely silent about Tamar's condition. No social media posts wishing her well, no public statements, nothing. For someone who was supposedly working on a visual project with her, his silence is deafening.
When the blogs started connecting Mendeecees to Tamar's accident, instead of addressing the situation like a mature adult, what did he do? Nothing. He let his wife handle the speculation while he stayed completely quiet. That's not the behavior of someone who's innocent and has nothing to hide. That's the behavior of someone who knows that anything they say might make the situation worse. But Tamar, never one to let a story tell itself, decided to speak up with an explanation that honestly made things worse. She claimed that Mendeecees has been around because he's the leading man in her visual project, and that Funky Deneva has a cameo in this mysterious film. The problem with this explanation is that nobody, and I mean nobody, has heard anything about this project before now. Tamar has been pretty open about her career moves lately. She talks about her music, her appearances, her business ventures. So when exactly did she hire Mendeecees for this leading man role? Was it that night at the club? Because if you're going to use someone in your project, don't you usually discuss that before you're getting cozy with them at 1 a.m. in Atlanta? The timeline doesn't add up, and fans aren't buying it for a second.
What's even more suspicious is the name of this supposed project. Tamar mentioned a visual project, but gave no title, no production company, no timeline, no additional details whatsoever. For someone who usually can't stop talking about her work, this sudden secrecy is extremely convenient. It's almost like this project materialized out of thin air right when she needed an explanation for why she was spending intimate time with a married man. The whole situation has people looking back at Tamar's pattern of choices when it comes to men, and honestly, it's concerning. Remember when she was with Vince Herbert? That relationship was messy, public, and ended in divorce amid cheating allegations and financial drama. Then came JR, who fans never really warmed up to, and that relationship fell apart publicly too. Each time, Tamar seemed to find someone who brought more drama into her life than the last.
But this situation with Mendeecees represents a new low, even for Tamar's standards. This isn't just another failed relationship or bad boyfriend choice. This is a married man with a history of legal troubles, prison time, and chronic infidelity. This is someone whose own wife can barely keep him in line, yet somehow Tamar thought getting involved with him was a good idea? The pattern is clear. Tamar keeps choosing men who are unavailable, problematic, or both.
Vincent was dealing with serious financial and legal issues. JR had his own set of problems that played out on social media. And now Mendeecees, who comes with more red flags than a parade. It's like she's attracted to chaos, and each time the chaos gets a little bit worse.
What's really heartbreaking is watching someone with Tamar's talent and success consistently make choices that put her in dangerous situations. She's a Grammy-nominated artist, a successful businesswoman, a mother, someone with everything to live for, yet she keeps finding herself in scenarios that threaten all of that. And this time it literally almost cost her life. The streets have been talking, and the theories range from plausible to absolutely wild. Some people think Tamar's injuries were the result of a physical altercation, possibly with someone who found out about her night with Mendeecees. Others speculate that maybe she was under the influence of something and had an accident, which would explain the memory loss. Then there are those who think something more sinister happened, and that's why everyone involved is being so secretive about the details.
What we do know is that Funky Dineva, who was supposedly there that night, has been going back and forth on social media trying to clear his name from any wrongdoing. He posted a mock wanted poster about himself listing all the things people have accused him of regarding that night. But here's the thing. If you were really innocent and just happened to be at a party that went wrong, wouldn't you be more focused on your friend's recovery than making jokes on Instagram? The fact that Funky Dineva felt the need to address the accusations so dramatically tells us that people are asking serious questions about what happened. You don't create elaborate social media responses to dismiss rumors unless those rumors are gaining traction and potentially damaging your reputation.
Meanwhile, Yandy Smith has been noticeably quiet about this whole situation, which is interesting because she's usually very vocal when it comes to defending her husband. When other women have been linked to Mendeecees in the past, Yandy has jumped on social media to shut down the rumors and stand by her man. But this time, crickets. That silence speaks volumes about what she might know or suspect about that night. Think about it from Yandy's perspective. You're already dealing with marriage problems, your husband has a history of stepping out, and now he's being connected to another woman's mysterious accident. Even if nothing inappropriate happened, the optics are terrible. Your husband was at another woman's house in the middle of the night, and hours later, she ended up seriously injured. How do you explain that to your children, your family, your fans?
The entertainment industry has seen situations like this before, where a night of partying and questionable decisions leads to serious consequences. But what makes Tamar's situation unique is the memory loss combined with the severity of her injuries. Medical experts say that kind of memory loss can occur with head trauma, but it can also happen when someone is under the influence of certain substances. Without knowing exactly what happened, we're left to speculate based on the limited information available. What's particularly troubling is how this incident fits into a larger pattern of self-destructive behavior that Tamar's fans have been watching with growing concern. Over the years, we've seen her make impulsive decisions in relationships, get involved in unnecessary drama, and put herself in situations that end up causing more harm than good. This accident represents the most serious consequence yet of those choices.
The support from her family has been notably subdued, too. While they've asked for prayers and privacy, there haven't been the usual Braxton family rallying cries that we typically see when one of the sisters is in crisis. That could mean they're trying to handle this privately, or it could suggest that they're as confused and concerned about the circumstances as everyone else. Looking at Tamar's social media posts since the accident, there's a sense of someone who's genuinely shaken by what happened to them. The vulnerability in her words, the admission that she doesn't know what happened to her own body, that's not the usual Tamar bravado we're used to seeing. This experience clearly affected her deeply, which makes the circumstances surrounding it even more important to understand. The timeline of events that night is crucial to understanding what really happened. We know Tamar and Mendeecees were together at V12 Lounge. We know they left together around 1 a.m. We know there was an after party at her home, and we know that sometime in the early morning hours, Tamar sustained serious injuries that she can't remember getting. Those hours between the party ending and her being found injured are the missing pieces of this puzzle. What's also concerning is the lack of any police investigation or official report about what happened. If someone is found with serious injuries and has no memory of how they occurred, don't the authorities usually get involved? The fact that this seems to be treated as a private matter rather than something that might require investigation raises additional questions about what really went down.
As Tamar continues to recover from her physical injuries, the emotional and psychological impact of this incident will likely take much longer to heal. Not knowing what happened to your own body, losing time and memory, dealing with serious injuries, that's traumatic on multiple levels. Add to that the public speculation and social media commentary, and you have someone who's dealing with trauma on both personal and public stages. The bigger picture here is about accountability and consequences. For years, Tamar has made choices that her fans and family have questioned. Each time, she's bounced back, moved on to the next relationship or project, learned some lessons, but not enough to break the pattern. This accident, whatever caused it, represents the most serious wake-up call she's ever received. Moving forward, the questions remain. Will Tamar finally recognize the pattern of dangerous choices she's been making? Will she get the help she needs, not just for her physical injuries, but for the underlying issues that keep putting her in harm's way? Will the people who were with her that night ever tell the complete truth about what happened? What we know for certain is that Tamar Braxton almost lost her life, and the circumstances leading up to that moment involve choices that put her in a vulnerable position with people who may not have had her best interests at heart. Whether this serves as the wake-up call she needs to break her destructive patterns remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the next choices she makes could literally be the difference between life and death. The entertainment world is watching and waiting to see how this story unfolds, hoping that whatever the truth is, it leads to healing and better decisions for someone who's given us so much talent over the years, but seems to keep finding herself in situations that threaten to take it all away. This incident has shown us just how quickly a night of poor judgment can turn into a life-threatening situation. For Tamar's sake, and for everyone who cares about her, let's hope she uses this experience to finally break the cycle that almost broke her.